So, because this is today's first strictly Montreal Canadiens related video, I wanted to go out there and give some props. Because yesterday, oddly enough, on the same day that Carey Price was traded away, we lost ourselves another Montreal Canadiens goaltending legend, Ken Dryden, everybody. One of the best goaltenders of all time. Probably, if not most definitely, like the smartest human being to have ever been an NHL player, let alone an NHL superstar. We lost Ken Dryden today, and obviously the hockey world is mourning. Not only was he a fantastic hockey player, playing just 8 seasons in the National Hockey League, but walking away with 5 Vezina trophies, 5 first All-Star teams, a Calder, a Stanley Cup champion 6 times, a guy who won the Conn Smythe Trophy before he won the Calder. Ken Dryden was a fantastic player on the ice, and then after yeeting away from the NHL, he found himself getting a PhD, he found himself in Parliament. This guy, not only a legend on the ice, but off the ice as well. Probably one of the most decorated individuals to have ever suited up in the sport of hockey, period. And we lost him yesterday. From 1947, August 8th, all the way to 2025, September 5th. R.I.P. to Ken Dryden himself. A lot of people were saying, hey, it's really weird, seeing Carey Price get traded and then Ken Dryden, the announcement of his departure just a few hours later. Such an odd, haunting time for Montreal Canadiens fans and those paying attention to the goaltenders that have defined Canadiens hockey eras over the past. But Ken Dryden, we will miss you, man. Absolute legend on the ice, absolute legend off it, and somebody that really made headlines as one of the best players ever. With that in mind, let's shift gears a little bit from Habs of yesteryear to Habs of today. Because when it comes to Lane Hutson, I think a lot of folks have been talking about various angles in regards to him and his development. Oh, what does his contract look like? Oh, does this guy make the Olympic team? Oh, he was snubbed from the Olympics orientation camp. In particular, those last 2 things are pretty big talking points. Lane Hutson is coming off of a year where he just won the Calder Trophy as the NHL's best rookie, scoring 66 points in 82 games as a first-year NHL defenseman. He was a point per game in the Stanley Cup Playoffs, and you take a look at some of the games here. He had 27 minutes against Washington in game number 5, 25 minutes in game 1, 25 minutes in game 2, 24 minutes in game 3, and then he had some 27, 22, 25-minute games throughout the course of the regular season. He was being used as a number 1 defenseman. And he pretty much is that right now for Montreal. However, we had made a bunch of videos talking about Lane Hutson's absence from Team USA and their Olympic orientation camp roster. It was from a few weeks ago, so obviously, this was going to be a big deal. But what if I told you, after the announcement that Lane Hutson is ticked off that he was not selected, after the announcement of the snub in the first place, along with Thatcher Demko and Alex DeBrincat, what if I told you that for Lane Hutson in particular, this USA snub may have resulted in a threat to join the opposite side? Notice here that Lane Hutson has an American flag on his name on Elite Prospects, but he also has a Canadian flag right there. His nation representing on the Elite Prospects profile is both USA and Canada. Lane Hutson played a lot of his development hockey in the United States, but he still has that option of potentially going Canadian. Take a look at his father, Rob Hutson, who has his own profile here on Elite Prospects. He is from Bozeman, Manitoba. He's a Canadian guy. He was born in Canada. His nation representing is Canada. Sure, he played a lot of hockey in the States, and Rob Hutson is a guy who I don't think a lot of NHL fans are familiar with because he didn't really break onto that scene, but he is the father of Lane. And now we have ourselves a verbal threat courtesy of the Recruits Habcast. This was posted onto YouTube earlier in the week. In fact, it was posted just yesterday. 5,000 views in about a day here by Recruits Habcast. And it's Grant McCagg going out there and speaking to Mr. Rob Hutson himself as he's chilling in the car trying to get this conversation going. And the quote from Rob is very, very telling. Habs on Reddit posted this on Twitter. Rob Hutson spoke about his son Lane not being invited to Team USA's orientation camp. I think our family has made a commitment to Team USA hockey throughout the years. I don't know what Bill Guerin was thinking. I don't know him. He probably, obviously, doesn't know Lane. We have to live with how they see it. We don't have to agree with it. This fuels anyone, especially if you're as competitive as Lane is. There's no animosity towards it. They have the opportunity to make the decisions they make. So be it. You never know what happens in the future. My boys are also Canadian. Oh my gosh, man. Now I'll say this. You listen to the interview, you listen to how they're talking. Rob Hutson, is not going out there and really pounding it into the sand. He's not viciously angry. He's not irate when he talks about it. You can tell he's kind of a little annoyed as he makes the comment, but there is an element of humor behind it. It's not like he's deadpan serious, yeah, my guys are Canadian. We're just going to go eat off to Canada. Sorry, buddy. That's not the tone that he gives off in the interview itself. But verbatim, these words are quite telling. It was already reported that Lane Hutson himself was not feeling great about the lack of an invite to Team USA's orientation camp. But now, having his dad speak about it too, say, yeah, our family, we've made a big commitment to Team USA hockey. I don't know what they're thinking with leaving Lane off. We have to live with this decision. We don't have to agree with it, though. And there's no animosity towards it. They can make the choices they want to make. But you never know what might happen because my guys can also represent that red, white maple leaf. Let's scroll down and read some of the comments here. He's low-key threatening Hutson will play for Team Canada, right? Or am I crazy? A reply goes out there and says this. It's a bit of a joke, I'd imagine. Lane would have to declare his nationality change and then sit out of all national team competitions for 4 calendar years. A reply goes out there and says he hasn't suited up for the US since January 2024, so he's halfway through the waiting period. IIHF, though, requires 4 years of ineligibility after international transfer card, is approved. He hasn't yet applied for one, let alone been approved. So, this obviously is not to be taken 100% seriously. Maybe take it 3 or 5% seriously. Yeah, big jump, I know, from 100 to 5. But if there is some sort of element of Lane Hutson potentially making the jump over to Canada, you would have to see a lot of time taken off of international play for Hutson to get that done. And I also wanted to dive into some of the other things here. I mean, a lot of people are discussing whether or not this actually would make an impact. James says that these comments from Rob Hutson might have likely cost Lane an invite for the next USA team. Yeah, I would think Team USA is not going to look too kindly on this statement. Obviously, that is a secondary element to it. Rob Hutson talking about his son and defending his son is one thing. Team USA's response to these comments are a completely separate issue. Who knows if Team USA is even going to think about Lane Hutson being an opportunistic player on their team after these comments were made. If Lane Hutson goes out there and dominates, he's the #1 point scorer in the NHL by the time February rolls around, and he's undoubtedly the best defenseman USA hockey has. Do they still take him after seeing these comments where his dad, in a way, threatened Canada as being Lane Hutson's next destination instead? So with all this in mind, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Lane Hutson and the idea of him repping Canada at international play upon his exclusion from Team USA's orientation camp. What are your thoughts on the comments from Rob Hutson? Where do you think Lane Hutson is going to end up in international play the next few years? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.